Hello, welcome back. Vector Graphics, Adobe Illustrator, session 8. So I'm on this kick here because the school is closed on Tuesday. Just so you all know, you understand the school is closed Tuesday. So don't come in. Double check your classes, double check your specific classes. Don't rely on me giving you information that doesn't pertain to classes I don't teach. You know about my classes, but just double check that. But my mind has been a little bit off because of that. I started teaching this class at 11 today. I was 40 minutes into the lecture until I realized a student came in. I was like, oh crap, why did I start at 11 and not 12? It's always because my Tuesday classes are on off hours, like 9, 11, and 1. So I've already done this once. So let's do it again. All right. So this will be quicker for me. All right, session 8. As we all know, go on in and do your attendance for session 8. It is simple questions about graphic design. You can use the internet. What is the grid system used in design? To align and organize layout elements. That sounds actually perfect. I know it's that one. It's not to adjust the image resolution or to create 3D models or control text readability. It's to align. It's a grid system. So, and if you don't know it, you just copy and paste it in the Google and you will find that out for yourself to organize contents and images. So there you go. You know what to do. Do those just before the end of the day today and you'll be perfect. I mention this every week, and I sometimes mention it when I grade. I hope you guys are looking at the discussion boards. I write in every discussion board. When you turn in an assignment, when it's graded, I write notes. Make sure you check in the notes, and a lot of times I'll be like, you should be using the mid-session review. It's a way to have your work checked and then fix it before you turn it in. It's great. It's great. Use it. I check it Monday through Friday, and sometimes Saturday mornings. Just put it in there. So just saying, we got 8 weeks left, or 4 weeks left, 8 classes left. So use it. It'll help your grade improve, and it'll help you understand things better. So lettering expressions. I know this one already. We are using a serif bold typeface. That's the only thing, the difference. Our 3 words are secret, surprise, and tunnel. Let's take us through the workup on how to create this. And like I said, if you see this, I've already done it once. New file. Let's do it anyway because it's good practice. My new file is 2, tab 3. Make sure you tab twice. The bleed is 0.25 inches, and I'm going to scroll down to more settings. Under more settings, I want 3 artboards and I want them spaced horizontally. Why? It's probably just easier for everybody. You can do it a different way, but just pick horizontal. You just know they're all in a row. You can copy and paste. It makes things easier. The spacing should be 1 inch apart. That gives you enough room in between each one to have your backgrounds bleed off. If you so put in a background, just double checking all that. I'm going to create my document. Here we go. All right, margin. Now, as I talked the first time through, we create our box. The computer remembers what we did last time. Or I created a new document, and the computer just initially says, whenever you draw anything, I'm going to make it white on the inside. I'm going to make a black stroke around it. It is just built into the system. I need to change that. Everything you do on every design program, you need to change yourself. So you can't just rely on it being like, oh, I did it last time. How come it doesn't remember? Because it's a computer. It doesn't remember anything. It remembers what you did the previous step, but you always have to go in and change everything, no matter what. Like I said, if you're doing a painting and you're painting with black paint and you want to change to red paint, you actually have to change a brush and dip it in red. You just don't think about red paint and then it comes out red. You change everything. So think about that every time you do something in Illustrator. You need to double check that it's doing what you want. The computer is just like, I don't know, you did this last time. This is what you wanted, right? No, I want it with nothing, or I want this. You have to change it every time. So just kind of get in that mode. Like, just don't rely on like, well, I did it last time. Well, no, it doesn't remember what you did last time. So I make sure I get my size right, 1.5 by 2.5, fill nothing, stroke magenta, 1 point. I'm going to make sure it's perfectly centered. And then I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go to edit, paste on all artboards. Now I'm going to turn on my ruler, and I'm going to pull my guides down. So I just know where the exact middle of my artboards are. Why do I do this? You know, it's just good to know. It's a good design practice. Where's the center? I need to center things up. You always know. It takes like a minute and you're done. Now for margin, let's not forget to turn on the template. This makes sure that the margin's only available to you and you only, and the printer. Nobody else sees it. You got to remember to turn that on. I use actually templates for more than just the margin. When I get into very complex designs, I will template out several different things so I can mark like just different areas and designs that I don't want anybody else to see, but I need to like keep them clear or do something else. I will use these templates all the time. It is a great design product, and that's why we do it. And I know all this, how many steps do I have in the beginning of each? 1, 2, 4, 5 major steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then like up to 5 little steps in the middle. Just follow them. It's a step and repeat. We do it every time. You're building good habits. You know, if you played an instrument and they're like, hold your hand like this, or you play a sport and they're like, make sure you swing like this. You practice that swing. You practice that hand. This is practicing the same thing. Every time you open a document, you open the document correctly, you set your bleed, you set your margins, you set your crop marks, boom, you're done. It takes 2 minutes once you're in the practice of it, and you just have to remember to do it each time. Now, like I said, the computer only remembers what I told it to do last time. So when I create this crop marks right here, boom, it kept the pink stroke. I don't want that. I need to change that. Why did it keep it? Well, it doesn't know what I want. I'm in control of every aspect. So when I go to make sure it has no fill, I also have to make sure it has no stroke. So it's 2 by 3 inches, no fill, no stroke. And I'll make sure it's centered up. And I'm going to go to FX and crop marks. Now, it did this to me before, is because when I was playing around, you see it put it on this third artboard? That's totally fine. It did it because I had the third artboard activated. I can still copy and go to edit, paste on all artboards, and it will do it backwards. Like it's fine. I could do it in the middle. It's just something that it had set in stone. Now the weird part is, did it do 2? It did do 2 crop marks on that one, which is fine. It's not going to show up any differently. So just make sure those are present. That happened to me last time. It's just something like when you go across, if you activate an artboard and you paste, it pastes into that artboard. Or when you do that centering, the artboard it's really hard to see. They oddly don't do a good indicator. It shows here under properties, artboard 1, artboard 2, artboard 3, but it only gives you like a thin black line. And then this is like a little bit grayed out. So there's not a huge indicator as this is the active artboard. It's all right. You just kind of get used to it. Some of these things you just get used to. I got type right there. Now it's a serif font, meaning I want loops and craziness. And I'm going to do one word. Surprise. That's my word. Now I'm just going to make it bigger so we can all see it. Now I'm going to change my font. And I'm actually going to use this font right here. See how it's got the serifs on it? It's a serif font, not a sans serif, it's serif font. I switched this. Everyone switches, keeping you on your toes. Now I have an idea for this already. And what I want to do is actually go to my type tool. I'm going to hold down, and I want the vertical type tool. And that's going to type top to bottom with the letters correct, meaning top to bottom, not sideways. Now I'm going to type in my word. And I'm going to do some alterations before I outline it. Now let's get this to fit the screen. And I'm going to first make it bigger, not going past the margins. I'm good. Now I want to make the distance in between these letters smaller. And the way to do that is called leading. And it's this guy. So here's the size of the font and it's leading. And I can just, no, it's opposite on this one. It's the slower one. It's the slower one. Diagonal. I said it wrong. It's this one. And if I do it little, you can see it moving just a bit. For this vertical text, you have to do it a lot. So I'm going to go like -200 on the leading. And again, this is this one. Kitty corner. Across is tracking. Sorry. So leading is up and down. And so I went to like -200. I want these tight. And just to start, because it's going to give me, if I go -225 even, it's giving me a starting point for room. And then I'm going to make this go to this size. All right. Now I'm going to do that part where I say, go to type, create outlines, objects, ungroup all. And now I have all my letters. And I'm just going to make the first one holding shift. And I want that E to be small. And then I want this S to be small. I'm going to actually hold down shift and option because it makes it smaller from the center. And I'm just going to go and make everything a little bit smaller till I get to this point, and I'm going to make these bigger. And then I'm just going to slowly rearrange them. And then I'm going to center them, and I'm going to size them. So I want them all centered. They're all kind of listing to the right. All I have to do is hit that center. I'm going to use my arrow key to tap it over to the center. And I'm going to hold down shift and, oh, I know why. Shift and option to make it grow from the center. And there, I'm going to make sure, use my arrow keys again. Actually, I'm going to just center all of these. And there's my exclamation point of surprise. I could make this E even smaller. Just to emphasize that it's like I'm making an exclamation point out of the word.
I thought you was going to make one of those pop-up things. You know what? You be at the party and they give you that thing.
Oh, the poppers. Yeah. Well, there's your idea. There's your idea. So again, it's all playing around. And don't forget, you can get a little crazy. I've showed this, that once you have your letter outlined, if you use the direct select tool, you can grab parts. And if you want to do something weird where you make like the U, I haven't destroyed it. And that's a different look than if I was to just we get so used to oh, I'm just going to stretch it. This stretches all of it. But if you're an artist about it, I want to stretch just the middle, but not the top and the bottom, that still conforms to the font. And when I talk about that, this is the difference. Let's do 2. This is kind of wrong. So it stretches the top, it's stretching this curve, it's making all those distorted. If I grab in the middle, because I can see where all these points are, and I'm taking that direct select tool, which is the one below, and then I hold down shift and pull up. The letter still stays fundamentally the letter, it's just the middle groove. And so you don't have the distortions. I still have the base and the top, and then it's just these 2 lines grew. And I think it looks better. It shows your intention rather than a stretch. So again, you can go and have some fun. If I was to do, you can even, stretch different parts. If I wanted that part tall, because I was going to do something inside those, the rest of the letter stays the same. So you can start to manipulate and change the look of the letters, but it's not always just about like squashing stuff and being done with. Like, how can you make it what you want without completely destroying stuff? So you play around. The words this week are very easy. I think they are. Secret, surprise, and tunnel. And there's one for surprise. Use the correct font. Make sure we're setting our documents up with crop marks and margin, and the margin is templated. So I did this earlier. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to take this off just for my example. I'm going to do File, Save As, and this is, I got to get the name of it correct. I'm going to save to cloud storage. I've already done this. Like I said, I mistakenly started. I was so excited to teach you guys. I just jumped in and didn't realize this is Exploration EX06. So I can click on that, hit save. Oh, what? It doesn't change its name. Usually if you do that, otherwise it'll keep the name. Like you click on the name, it'll change the name. I didn't know it didn't do that in cloud documents. All right, so EX, it's JSCAJA underscore EXP06, save. All right, now I have to export as, and I have to export those two ways. And so when I go to export as, and I'm just going to save it there. I'm going to change this to the 1, and I'm going to change this to client, right? We have a client version. I'm going to hit export, and the client gets the smallest file size. We always view PDF after saving, and there's nothing in marks and bleeds. And now I'm going to hit export. And because I have it set on view PDF after saving, it opens it for me. And I look at it, and then I swear out loud because my margins are there. And I'm not supposed to see the margins. So all I have to do is just simply close that up, go back, click on my margin layer, hit template, hit save, and then just go File, Export, Export As. It took me a second. I just do that, export, replace, smallest file size, view PDF after saving, marks and bleeds, nothing, and I hit export, and there I go, no margin. So I took care of the margin problem within 30 seconds. It's not redoing anything. If you see that, take care of it. I downgrade you for having the margin show. It's like, why not just fix it? It's like, it's so easy. And you're going to be bugged in the future about it as well. So, and then for the other one, I go File, Export, Export As. This is for press. This is high res, export. I want press quality, view PDF after savings. I want to see the trim marks, and I want to see that the exterior. So there we go. And then that's way in when the press gets it, they can start to see, oh, they seem to know how to set up their files correctly. Excellent. This won't be a problem at all. You may question this. I started on a little personal project, and I needed to go and get a printer template online, and it had all this stuff. It told exactly the margin should be this, the artboard should be this, and the bleed should be this. It is a standard thing that you're going to start seeing. And this was just like from one of those online vendors. So it will pop up, and you do know what those mean now. So, all right, cool. We got that one done. Moving on. Jane Eyre. All right, I'm just going to start building this one. New file. It is 3 by 5. The bleed, I'm just double checking. What did I write? I wrote 0.25. All right, that looks good. More settings, and we're just going to double check everything. So it remembered what I did last time, but what if we wanted something changed? So instead of just jumping right into it, I double check everything. Number of artboards 3, horizontal, 1 inch apart, 3 by 5. And that's all you do. and then you hit create document. It's just, you get in the habit of every time I do something, I do this. It's just like habits at home. Like, yeah, whatever the habit is, and when you brush your teeth, you do this, this, and this, whatever. So I'm going to create my margin. And again, this only takes 2 minutes. I'm going to create that. I started a new document. Oh, it's just resetting to what it should be, not what I want. So I have to change everything. Why? Because I'm in control, not the computer. If you want the computer to be in control, then do something else. But I want to be in control. I want to mark everything that happens. So it's up to you. That's why you join this industry. If it was like, yeah, be scared when it's like Illustrator AI, and then people are just like, oh no, I just used AI, but that doesn't work either. So there we go. So I have that. I have it perfectly centered. I'm going to copy, and I'm going to go edit, paste on all artboards. I have my 3 margins set. I'm going to pull my dividers. So I know the exact middle, the side. It just gets me a starting point. If it's not perfect, just do it again. Every once in a while, I click off, and it nudges a little bit. That's as good as it's going to get. And my margin is set, and I'm going, stretching.
Oh, I was stretching.
Yeah, okay, just making sure. And then I go to template. These will not show up. Then I want to create my crop mark. Now, when I draw another box, what's it going to want to do? It's going to want to have a pink outline, magenta outline. We don't want that, so we turn that off. You can turn it off right away if it bugs you. Boom, right away. 3 by 5 inches, fill stroke. Let's make sure it's perfectly centered. So it jumped to that 3rd artboard again on me, which is totally fine. Totally fine. And then I'm going to go to FX, crop marks. There they are. I'm going to copy, edit, paste on all artboards. Done. We are set with that. Then I make my other layers, which is body copy. Then title author. Then image. Oops. And for the advanced people, moving on, doing funky stuff, add one for the background. All right. Image, let's just go grab that. Once again, what did I do? I typed in Jane Eyre book cover. Now, I just typed that into Google. That's as far as I got. And I hit return. I'm going to click on images. I'm going to go to tools. I'm going to go to size, and I want large. Not any size. I want large. And it says this one's viewed because I went with this one. Now, I'm going to right-click on that, save link as. There we go. It woke up. I'm going to do it the desktop and screenshots, just so I know where it is. What does it say when it's download? Oh, that clicked on the wrong. There we are. I've been having a click problem. I got to restart my computer at some point. All right. Then, since I have this open, let's grab some of the copy as well. So I have my image, title, author. I'm going to make sure. Remember, I was on. Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
Like when you pick out the image, whatever, I always have 2 screens open because I grab the image and then drag it to Illustrator as well.
Yes, you can do the drag into it as well. So you can drag your images right into Illustrator as well. Just sometimes though, in the future, if it can't reference that image, it may be a problem. So it's always really good to have that image available to you. So if you were to go to print, so that's a great question. They also need this image. So when let me get the image in there.
So images that we use, you want us to download them? I mean, put them in our file?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
You should get used to that. That's a great way to say it. So you should get used to, when you download the image, keeping them with your files. So
Okay.
the reason being is, I'm going to place this image. Now you can, there's another way to do it, it's called embedding.
I was just about to ask you about that.
Yeah. So because I placed an image, the way I know the difference is it's got this X in it, and that is referencing my computer to this file right here. These are what is called linked. So if this file goes missing, the computer will eventually start telling me you have a missing link, which it needs that in order to have this image be there. So if I was going to send this to print, I would include the image along with the native file, along with the PDF. Like I would include four documents for them. And that way they have the image as an original in case there's a problem. If you don't include the image, they're going to contact you and be like, it says there's images missing. Then you got to find them, get them to them, and hope that they place incorrectly. This is all advanced stuff. The other one, and the reason why I use linked images and not embedded images, is it makes my working file smaller and more manageable. Smaller meaning if I go to File, Place, and I do that same image, but I click off a link and I hit place, it's going to place it in. It is all fine. It'll work the same. But if you have a lot, and then this doesn't need the attached image. But if you have a lot of images, what happens is your Illustrator file goes from a, like, let's say a 1 meg working file into a 100 meg working file, which may slow things down and make the reaction times in Illustrator longer. You may run into problems. They're not severe problems, but in general, I link in order to just have smaller document sizes to move around. I can share them quicker. I can get them out quicker. And just knowing when I have to include the images, then it'll be a bigger zipped file, but I don't usually do that till the very end. So that's a very good question about linked files and embedded files. Embedded files stay with the Illustrator document, but they also make it a bigger document. Linked, it's like a handshake away, but you have a very quick working file. You just then have to remember, I need to include these when I go to print.
Do you want us to start doing that now?
It's just good to know why you're doing what you're doing. So if you do it, no, I don't want them included. You don't have to do that part yet. You'll learn more about that in the future in your other classes. But yeah, not right now. Sure, no. So I'm going to copy my title and my author. And just like before, the computer remembered what I've done. And so it just thinks I want to do the same thing over and over and over. So my type is set on the vertical type tool. I have to go and change it. I don't want that. And then when I do title and author, I tap once because that is point type, not area type. Area type is just for paragraphs. The way it typesets is completely different, and we don't want that. I'm going to go with Times New Roman. And these can be bold. And then I'm going to get the body copy. The body copy, I'm just going to put in a block today. I showed you how to do some experimentation, but I can just do the block today because I have some other things I want to show you. I'm going to select all and then paste in there. And I want to change this font to not bold. I want it just regular. All right. Fancy. Let's get fancy. I want a background on mine, and I want the background to match this magenta color, this burgundy, excuse me. So I'm going to go to background. And when I draw my background box, I don't stop at the artboard. No, I do it all the way to that bleed, past the artboard. That is what you have to do for industry. Every time, they're going to make sure you have bleed. I know this black line, that's my artboard. I can visually see that. But you need that. If you want color all the way to the edge, you have to go all the way to the red mark. Just kind of keep that in mind. And then the other one, I'm working with the margin. Nothing goes past the margin. And I'll show you this more in like the next design, because I already did a bunch today. So like, let's say I'm going to have that up there. I want I'm going to make sure that's locked. I want the title author. I want this to be the gold color, right? And I want the author's name to be the same gold color. And I can just use that eyedropper as the key to getting that. And it matches the font. So then I can move this here. And remember, I'm not going past those margin lines. I'm going to do that. And for Jane Eyre, I want this in 2 lines. So I'm going to take out that space. I'm going to hit return. Oh, I've got a gap there. Get rid of that. And I want to make this bigger. Like that. But I don't like this giant gap. So I'm going to go back over here and adjust my leading. See, it reverses it when you do that vertical type. I was correct, but it reverses it. So I want it like that. And then I'm going to do my block of text. Now I want my text to be white. What am I doing? I'm kind of matching the book cover. So I just go over here. Look at all this weird stuff that's happening. Now, we talk about the designs. This can be bigger. And I'm starting to slowly talk to people about spacing and white spacing. And we want to jam the whole thing up, right? Oh, I want to fill every available space on my design. Well, that's actually incorrect. We want to leave gaps between items so people have room to what we call like breathe or take a visual rest. So I'm going to make my type smaller. Oh, and this is perfect. All right. So I made my type smaller. Now, this is, for all intents and purposes, very nice. You look at it, you kind of like squint at it, and I have my title, and I have a good gap in between the title and the book. There's a nice gap here, and there's a gap here. It doesn't have to be, everything doesn't have to be as big as possible, as close to everything as possible. We actually want to be able to say, I want to be able to read the name, Jane Eyre. Then I want to be able to look at the book. Then I want to come down and look at the text, but not be like bumping up and like, you know, like we wanted it, you know, to be like, oh, it's going to be like that. We don't want anything touching. That's cramped and it makes people feel agitated. We want nice spacing. These big gaps are a-okay. It's fine. Now, the other thing I run into is the widow. Yes, the widow. It is called a widow because it is a lonely word at the bottom of a paragraph all by itself. And we don't want to have that ever happen. So you can do many different ways. You can make the text smaller. If I make this like 8.5, oh, it goes away. Like that simple. Or I can hit if I undo that, I can take this Georgian and hold down shift and return and have 2 words at the bottom. So you always want to make sure that there's not one single word sitting alone at the bottom of a paragraph. That is called a widow. And I'm starting to mention that, and I'm going to start marking you off for having those. You are the type, but the computer just did it for me. The computer doesn't know what it's doing. It is just helping you with the process. You are to go in and look at, like, when I design, I look at every like jagged, this is called a jagged edge. And if there's one sticking out further than another, I'll start up here and I'm like, I'm going to move heart down to the next line. That moves my there. But if I move my over here, then I get, oh, now this is like a nice looking. And I get that involved in it. And that's part of the design process. And then so this is nice and spaced out and looks good. Let's talk about borders. I'll do one more. I'm not going to do all three because I want to get to the big project. All right, let's talk about borders. Everybody loves borders for some reason. Borders sucks. I only mention it because my book has a border, but I want you to look at my the border on the book. The border on the book does not touch the edge of its artboard. See how it's border and then the same color as the inside to the outside. Borders never go on the edge of an art document. I don't know where we see this happen. It's a bad like Microsoft Word thing or something in the past that whenever people put on borders, they would always be like, I want a white border around it. You'd be like, why do you want a white border right on the edge? So people would do this kind of shenanigans and be like, there's a border. And it's like when you see the document, like, well, why do you have it inset from like, what's the purpose of that? There's really like, it's a weird thing where there's no purpose to it. So if you want a border and you want a design element such as that, bring it in and use the margin as your stopping point. So there's your border. Then there's a nice like fill on the end and the border will look like you intended it to. Now I can take these parts and when I have a border, now I have to pretend the border has a margin. I'm not going to put stuff up to the border. I'm now going to make sure everything has a gap between it and the border. Let's rearrange. I have a gap. Then I put this in here. I have to make this smaller. I'll put this up here. And again, I'm making sure that every piece I do has a gap around it. This is going to be even smaller. And then my text will go up here. And I make this, bring this in. Oh no, look at all that. Well, you just make the font smaller. And then I have to go in and fix all my returns that I did and just take those out. Your job as a designer is to make sure everything looks smashing. Oh, afternoons, that's why. I don't like this big gap here because afternoons is a long word. So I'm going to go to never and I'll hit shift and return. And then that way that looks really nice. But that's how you do it with a border. If you want a border, the border stays around the margin area. It doesn't go big. And then you have to design as if the border has a margin. If we don't put anything touching it. Nice gap spaces. I'll show you the PDFs I made. I don't think I threw them away. That was that one. Okay. Let's check my trash. And then we'll get on to the final project. Date modified. So here we are. I did the same thing. See, like there's a nice gap in between everything. We never just design right up to the edge. So there you go. All right. Design mission. As we know, this is a copy what you see. I'm going to click here. I'm going to download it. Sorry, that wasn't centered. Now, this one, I opened it up. Here's my downloads. Let's get rid of these. You have a folder, a zip file. You're going to open up that zip file. It's going to have fonts for you to use and your design mission. There's 2 missions ahead of you. They look crazy. but they're not as crazy as you think. It is actually, again, as I say, a lot of step and repeating. You're just making shapes. So the image, don't worry about the image. It is there. You know how to do typography. All you're going to do is the fonts are there. You just type out Fortune where it says type, January 28th. And then you're just going to start to look and you're just going to start making shapes. And that's what this is about. It's a rectangle with a circle in it. And you just start making. And this is one where you're going to be like, oh, okay, if I fill that, I can't see it. But then I make the circle. So I change it to outline only. And then I'm going to make a circle. Get it the right size. And then you can use, if I grab this and this, it's just outlines, but I can make sure maybe I want them centered with each other. I can make that circle a little bit bigger. And then if I grab the square, I go to the eyedropper tool and I pick the correct color. Oh, that's I. And then you can move things out of the way if you need to get the colors to match and then move them back. So it's a square and a circle. The colors are off a little bit, but that's fine. And you're just going to go through and use your powers of copy and paste, shape changes. This one's a half circle. So it's half and half and half and half. So you just draw, I'm going to draw two rectangles. And I'm actually going to do them low. Like there's one. It matches. I'm going to just do that drag, copy and paste. And then I'm going to check the colors. And I'm going to be, one's dark. There's the dark one. And one's light. Let me zoom out all the way. And again, this is all about just drawing what you see, learning the tools, and nothing new is introduced in this one. So if I pull those up, those will be the half. Then I need a circle, but it's two different halves. Well, that's just a circle, right? And then I take this thing and I cut it in half, right? And then I match that color. This is probably this color. And then you just do the same. I can take that and I can do it this way. Get it to that 100%, 90 minus 90. And then click the color, which I think is the light. It's this light color. Do that. And then put it in there. Make sure that they're touching. And then I can grab these, pull them up. Sad part is I'm on the wrong layer. So I'm going to go Object, Arrange, send it back. And then we can fix that. It's a little bit off. So we're going to get everything fixed. I can grab these two halves, bring them in. The big one is, here's the funny part. I did two half circles, but this one could actually be a full circle. Because I just have to put a half circle on half of it. So I actually went through more work than I needed to go through, because you could just have a whole circle and then a half circle on top of it. And you're just going to go down the line. Here, it's a half circle on a rectangle with a full rectangle. All right. Get that. And I could just grab this rectangle, pull it over here, move it off to get the matching colors. The circle is this color, and the background is this color. If they're out of order, I click on the one I want in front, go to Object, Arrange, Bring to Front, get them lined up. Let's fix this. I'm going to bring it in perfect. Grab these two, move it over. This is just a regular. So you're just going to go through. One area is circles and squares. Well, this area is arrows. This is done in almost the same way. You can just start cutting pieces out. So if I make, this first one starts as a rectangle. That's the right color. Then I need a triangle cut out of this. Well, let's just copy and paste this. Get it to the right size. And then I can make a triangle. So I'm going to hold down, go to polygon tool, I'm going to hold down shift, go up to a triangle. I'm going to turn the triangle on its side. And now here I'm going to distort it. I'm going to change the color of this so I can see what I'm doing. And this is the light purple, it looks like. Oh, it's half and half. So it's half this color. And it's just all you're doing. This is like, I'll make this square bigger. I don't want any gaps. Pull that to the half mark. I'm going to copy and paste and pull that down. I'm using key commands everywhere. How is he doing it so quick? Shift and Option, and it's all here. How does he do certain things? The big one is this copy and paste. Copy and paste and the copy and drag. So I'm going to click on that. This needs to be this color. Eyedropper. Space bar again. There's a lot of moving around. This, which color is that? The very light one. This is this color. I'm going to get these back in place. Hold down shift, tap shift. Then I move them over. Bring in the triangle. And this one, now I can distort it. And there we are. Then you could take this, copy all this, shift and Option. And like this is just like a long version, but different colors. You get it to the right size, move it out of the way. I'm holding shift again when I move it out of the way, just so it constrains it. And then I can change the colors. The triangle should be the dark color. The lower one is the purple. So this lower is the purple. And the upper one is the blue one. So change that to this blue. All really is just making shapes, figuring out, and it's a lot of movement. But that's one of those things in Illustrator. The faster you get at kind of like manipulating and moving and kind of like understanding the shortcuts, the easier things are. So like for this final one on this bar, it's basically the same. So I can keep that. I can stretch stuff to get it to fit where it needs. And I think that's, oh no, this stretch ends here. But I have to cut it in half, right? Oops. We can use that crazy tool that cuts things in half. So if I grab the upper square in the triangle and I go to Shape Builder and I click once here, it now has that be a color. And then the square is different. The square is lavender. So the shape builder knocks things out. And then this is the light color. And it's just a weird play. I haven't made any complicated shape. I haven't used any new complicated design on it. The thing I'm using is I'm going to end up using shape builder a lot. I'm using the key commands, shift and option a lot. I'm always holding down, whoops. Always holding down shift and option. If it's just shift, it moves it in a nice straight line. You can move it back to where it was. Don't just if you slide it off crooked, then you kind of got to realign it. If you hold down shift, get it out of the way, match colors, move it back in. And if you want a duplicate of it, you'd shift an option and then you drag it. And you see that arrow turn on, and that's the quick way to do that. Shift option, see that second arrow? That means it's working. So all of these, it's just really weird shapes. Check your, I'm on top of that now. If I move all this away, you can just see it's a circle, half moon, circle, rectangle. This gives you all the intimate shapes, and it's built by doing very few changes. Again, it's showing you what you can do in Illustrator with very little. Like everybody sees that final product and they're like, oh my God, how did you do it? You'd be like, it was like 4 shapes. Like nobody just realizes it's 4 shapes. That's why we get into this next one, which everybody is like, "Gah, you want what now? Holy, come on." Oh, I just moved it. Too much. No, that should be good. Like, oh my gosh. This is all done with 2 circles. It's complicated, but it's not. It's 2 circles that you just start to repeat and then eventually use the shape builder to cut out to make it look transparent. That's all it is. 2 circles over and over and over again. So let's do it. This is the album. And everybody be like, wait, what? It's 2 circles. I'm going to draw this green and red. I'm going to hold down shift and option again, because I'm going to draw my circle from the inside out, and I'm going to get it to the approximate size. Now I see where that center point is, and I'm going to hold shift and option. Is it going to let me do it? It wants to duplicate it. I'm just going to hover over it. It doesn't have to be exact. There we go. Now I'm going to hold down shift and option, and I drew a second circle. I am at this point simply going to make it outlined, and I'll make it thick so you guys can really see it. I'm going to make sure that these 2 are perfectly centered with each other. So you just click center and center. Now this is a building block. Now I can take this, and I should be able to just go object group. This is 1 circle system, and this fits every circle system here. There's no difference. It's the same one over and over and over and over and over. So once you get 1 built, you just hold down option, slide 1 over here. Then hold down option, slide 1 over here. And that's all you're doing. Everywhere you see a circle, slide 1 over. And you do that for all of them. Now, once you get that, I'm only going to do the top half. You can grab them all, and you can do this in bits and pieces. And I'm going to go through, and then we're going to activate using the free transform tool, and we're going to activate each section. And all you're going to do is tap on it. And you're going to tap on every section you want, which is just like going through. I'm going to tap, 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 tap. And I'm just going on every little piece. You can tap twice if you want, I think. It doesn't matter. You'll know if you missed one. That should be enough. And then when I go, only what I want. And if you see that like, oh, the middle is done, it's got this piece. Did I not tap the middle? You just go and you get the middle. So then I can just sit here and be like, this is this red. And it's just gonna be a lot of like, click the red. Then you may have to send the back, object, arrange, send the back. Oh, object ungroup. Check an ungroup. For some reason, this was staying grouped. So this was staying grouped. Now it's not, and this is the green. I happen to remember that. Then this is like purple. Make it just object ungroup all. Just helpful hint. And that's like this magenta. It's all comes down to just cutting out using the shape builder. One circle, 2 circles does the whole design. The rest is grouping them, using the shape builder, cut everything out, ungrouping them, and then you have all these just individual pieces, and you're just gonna color them. I'll do it again for you. The middle is yellow. Again, it's just a lot of step and repeat. Do the same thing, then keep doing it. And you'll see as you slowly do it, it just slowly gets filled in. And it starts to look like the original. And they all, look how tight they match when you do that. It's so cool. Such a cool effect. So all I did, once again, it's 2 circles. Shift and Option. I like to grow my circles from the inside out. Again, for actually for working on this is actually pretty good to have it outlined. I'm going to do the fill with nothing, the stroke with black, just to make it easier to see and work on. And you make that real thick because it's not going to affect, once you get the 2 circles, it's just about lining them up. I'm going to draw another circle. I'm going to click off of that, then draw the other circle. It'll pinpoint the middle. Shift and Option out. Get that to the right size. Make sure they're perfectly centered. And once you have that, if you can group it, and then I'm going to hold down Option, and then you just kind of move it to everywhere you need to move it to. Space bar, Option, click and drag, space bar, Option, click and drag. It's those quick keys. And you just go around and you put one everywhere. And then once you see that everything is divided, you zoom out. If you miss one, just go back. You can go back and fix things. You can go back and put them in. I'm going to grab all of these at the bottom. And I'm going to take my shape builder and I'm just going to click on every shape possible. Here's the funny part. You guys don't realize this used to be not this easy. Use that. There's like 3 steps involved in getting this to work. And I'm just going nuts. I'm making sure I'm double checking, triple checking. And then we go to Object, Ungroup All, and then I can start just click on them and colorize. And if it's like, I can't get to that center one, arrange, then we fix it. There you go. So I sent the object to the back because the lines are right on top of each other. So I had to send it to back to be able to get to that one. This I can get to this easily, but it's going to be that center one where I'm going to have to send some things to the back. Let's see if I get it. Oh, okay. I'm going to do object, arrange, send to back. I'm not going to move it, but I want to be able to click on the center one and turn it yellow. And that's all we're doing. You're just making circles and cutting them out using the shape builder by just clicking on them, and then just changing colors and go through the whole thing and make the design. And then you could turn yours off and check it like, oh, how's mine looking? How's mine looking? How are my colors? Pretty accurate. Oh, I missed some here. You know, you'll be able to tell by turning on and off the eyeball. Like, what am I missing? What did I have to do still? And I think the final thing is text on a circle. That's always a little bit of pain. And then I'll let you guys go. So text on a circle, Columbia. I have the font in there. Now, when you do the type tool, you want type on a path, not type tool. You want type on a path. It does something different in that it puts it around the edge. And it gets use that space bar. So I want to make sure. Yeah. So Columbia. Now I just typed it once. You can type it twice. Now I want to make it big, and I think it's Helvetica Narrow. And I'm going to make it, I can change the size of it. Just like you would do anything else. Just like all the other type treatments. But this one is going on a circle. Here's the kicker. Circles are a pain in the butt. There's some like really intricate, like it doesn't like to be futzed with much because there's some pull handles, and I'll show you that in a second. I'm going to get this to the right height. There you go. Now, here. See these blue handles? You can pull these, but they act really funny, and then sometimes they act goofy. So this is the end one. Nothing's going to happen. So then I got to move this one, and now it moves. So what this is showing, this is actually, this one is the beginning, and this is the end. They get really confusing, and I have, to this day, kind of hate using this system to get this to work. I don't know what there would be a better one, but it's like you have to move that. And then you'll see one moving over here. That's indicating the center. So it moves around. Now I take one. If you grab on that, and sometimes it's hard to grab, you have to get real tight in there, but you can move it around. You have to do on a path, double check that. You have to make sure you're on a path. But then everything else sort of works the same. I can highlight this, and I can make the tracking kerning tighter. I go up to 20, minus 30. So it might take a little futzing. This might be the hardest part of the whole project, is text on the circle. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste that. And then I'm just going to rotate this whole thing 180 degrees. And that's how you get the lower one. Give yourself time for that part. And then you can just make the text white. I didn't mean to do that. And I'm going to make the text white. Make the text white. You know, there's a couple extra circles and lines in there. But again, all we're doing for both of these, just shapes, circles, and cutting out using the free transform, not free transform tool, the shape builder. It's just shapes, just making shapes and getting them perfect as you can, cutting, dividing, and that's it. Like this one is literally 2 circles. So everybody sees it and they're like, what? It's just 2 circles repeated. Just making like stained glass. So any questions, comments, or concerns? All right, you know how to reach me. I'm around. I will, if I don't see you on the discussion boards, I will see you on Wednesday. All right. Don't forget, tomorrow there's MATC is closed. That's tomorrow. Um, the schools. I think some services might be open. I can't remember, but no classes tomorrow. All right. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.